Hi guys, I'm Bianca Weemy. I'm going to be doing my Theorist presentation today. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let's see. So the theorist that I chose was Chris Biffle. So he co-founded Whole Brain Teaching. So he was a professor from California. His education reform movement began in 1999. He is a co-founder of the theory Whole Brain Teaching, and he wrote the book Whole Brain Teaching for Challenging Kids in 2013. This picture shows you a picture of him, and behind him is what is called a scoreboard. So that is what you can tally for student behavior. So if students are doing the right thing, they will get a tally under the smiley face, and you'll say mighty oh yeah, and they'll celebrate. And then if for some reason your students are not doing the right thing or they're talking, you can give them a mighty groan and they just go. So that's how that scoreboard works. Um, so what is whole brain teaching? Whole brain teaching is the idea that our whole brain needs to be activated to actively learn. Um, it's a highly energetic, actively engaged learning process. You use attention getters, there's classroom rules and lots of collaborative learning. If you look at this picture right here, I actually got this right off of their website. So it shows you when you're using whole brain teaching exactly what part of your brain you're using. So you're using your prefrontal cortex for reasoning, Wernicke's area for understanding language, Broca's area for speaking language, nucleus accumbens for uncertain rewards that generate dopamine, which is the brain's pleasure chemical, the limbic system for emotions, the visual cortex for seeing, and the motor cortex for movement. So it's showing you that if you're putting all of these pieces together for whole brain teaching, you'll get 5% more brain energy. So when we talk about whole brain teaching, you can talk about the traumatic child because this way of thinking was coined for students that have undergone trauma or if they have ADHD. And there's many reasons why it helps those children specifically. So trauma can negatively affect your brain chemistry and block sensory pathways. Whole brain teaching allows for students to be stimulated in all areas of their brain, and this helps them to be engaged. Whole brain teaching starts with positivity, and when students are not engaged, they're not yelled at, but are rather given more time to practice. So what this means is instead of reprimanding your students, you'll just give them you'll just say rule one or rule two, and they just recite the rules. So they know and you know that they were not following that rule, but they know what the rule is. So then afterwards, they should be following it. One strategy that is used in whole brain teaching is what's called mirror words. So when a teacher or a child, like in this picture, says mirror words, the student repeats and lifts their hands. The students will mimic the teacher's words and actions. This helps students to stay actively engaged in their learning process. They also use class yes and teach okays. So class yes is where a teacher says class and the students reply with yes. To make it fun and engaging, anything the teacher says in front of the word class, the students always repeat. So my example was, if you say howdy doody class, then your students would say howdy doody yes. So this is just an attention getter that is really easy to use and students love to do it. Another thing they use is teach okay. So for this is so that students can work with each other. Um, so if a teacher will say boom boom teach, and you always clap boom boom teach, and then the students will say boom boom okay. And then they will start chatting with the person that is next to them about any questions that the teacher asks, or if the teacher asks them to do mirror words in the small groups, they will do mirror words with their partners. For whole brain teaching, there is a set of classroom rules. Classroom rules are taught with motions and they're gone over multiple times a day. So for my classroom, we usually go over it in the morning when the children first arrive, and then we go over it when the students are going to specials, when they're going to lunch, when they come back from lunch, and then at the end of the day. Um, so if the class or a student is breaking the rule, the teacher can just say the rule and the student will recite what the rule is. So for example, if a student is not following rule one, the teacher will just say rule one and the student will say follow directions quickly. Um, there's motions for all of them. So rule two is raise your hand for permission to speak. Rule three is raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. Rule four is make smart choices. Rule five is keep your dear team stronger. And the diamond rule, keep your eye on the target. We also have a super improver chart. So this is used for positive reinforcement. When you see someone doing the right thing, you can give them a star. When they fill their small card or chart, they move to the next level. So everyone starts at beginner and you move up as the year progresses. Um, this is really cool because students are motivated because they don't lose stars. So this is not negative at all. And they're not just awarded based on academic ability, but they can be awarded based on behavior, just anything you see that the students are improving on. So using whole brain teaching in the classroom. You can incorporate whole brain teaching into your classroom to diminish unwanted behaviors. One way you can do this is by stamping key points using mirror words or stamping the learning target. So I'm going to show you, this is actually from my school in my classroom. I'm going to show you students stamping a learning target with mirror words. I do have to fast forward just a little bit. And then so that was just showing mirror words for our arts integration class. These students were learning about Somalia. They were learning about instruments from Somalia. So it's just a way to stamp that key learning. And as you saw, students really enjoy doing it. And you can use any fun motions that you want to do that will help keep your students engaged. Some quotes from Chris Biffle that really stood out to me. The first one was our whole brain teaching rule. The more we talk, the more students we lose. Um, as a teacher, so when I first started teaching, I over explained everything, and my instructional coach was telling me, you can say all of those words with just 3 words. You can do it nice, short, and sweet because those students stop listening to you after the first sentence. So that really stood out to me because it is true that the more we talk, the more teachers talk, the more students we lose with their attention. Another one that I noticed is you have to build a bridge to your most rebellious student before you can walk across it. So to me, that just means like building relationships and forming connections. I'm one second. Sorry about that. So yeah, to me that means you're building your connections. Um, and that's important because no kid is going to listen to you if they don't respect you, and a student is not going to respect you if they think that you don't like them. That's a big part of my own teaching philosophy. The last thing that really stood out to me is if a student's whole brain is involved in learning, there isn't any mental area left for challenging behavior. This also really stood out to me because um, it's just I have seen this in my classroom personally using whole brain teaching at our school. Um, we there's a lot less behavior issues than I hear about in a lot of other schools because students are actively engaged in the learning and they want to learn and they want to earn those super improvers. So that was really cool to me. And then those are just my resources. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned some about Christopher Bethel. It was really interesting to me to be able to talk about whole brain teaching because I do it every day in my classroom, and I have definitely seen the benefits of it firsthand. Thank you.